Welcome back to the third, our final hour here. You are left to your own devices as you make your way into Sarum, technically called Salisbury Castle. It is a great stone castle, very modern, the main seat of the Lord of the Earl of Salisbury. Curtain walls 8 feet thick and 20 feet tall surround the inner bailey, which is roughly circular and about 300 feet in diameter. Within this bailey are the Earl's domestic buildings, including a bakery by the east gate and a castle well in the center. It has 4 towers and a keep that is the center of its domestic and administrative activities. But for your presence, you know that you will be spending time tonight in the Great Hall. During the day, all furniture... Oh, sorry?
No mott, just a bailey. Well, this is an old Roman castle.
Yes, yeah. I didn't go into... There is a mott and there is a bailey. Okay. And there is a moat around the mott, which is also what I said earlier, but only people in chat got that. And let's not do this thing. Let's not make this a thing every time. Or I'm just going to call it a moat and a mott and a bailey castle, which will deeply upset the ancient gods.
Yeah, we'll call it the MMB collection. You know, for the is this an MMB castle? No, okay, okay.
This is far more advanced than a simple moat and bailey, but there is a bailey and there is a moat and there is a mott. However, let's get back to that great hall. During the day, all of the furniture is removed from the hall. And they say that a lord is only as great as their hall. And the reason that they say this isn't because the hall is fancy. It is because the size of the hall determines the number of knights that can stay in it. Because cooks sleep in the kitchen, grooms sleep in the stable, and knights sleep in the great hall. So a small great hall means that one does not have a lot of knights, and thus is not a very great lord. Each of you will be assigned a large chest when you arrive to store your personal possessions in while you are there. That said, before you get to the castle, you can always wander around the city of Sarum and get involved in things. Probably all of you have been here before, but if someone has a reason that they haven't, I can walk you through things. And maybe you want to spend a little denarii. Maybe you want to go see some of the wealthy heiresses around town. Maybe you have plots and plans you'd like to put forward before you become a knight. Or maybe you'd like to place a bet on something that might happen. Or you can ignore all of that and just go to the knighting ceremony.
I am definitely interested in finding out the word on the street in Sarum, like just trying to get the general zeitgeist of the town, but also definitely trying to work out who's who in the the eligible bacheloresses, the powers that be in terms of who is, obviously we're going to become knights now. We've got a responsibility to propagate our family line. I'd like to sort of start doing my research as to who would be a good match.
Doing
versus realistic match.
Is this what the kids call it nowadays? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Checking out the ladies.
Yep, that's definitely what some people call it for sure. I would like you to make a recognize roll.
Okay.
This is going to cover a lot of what you've asked for. Both getting the word on the street and finding the ladies.
Not intrigue for getting the word on the street?
Which one is more important to you to do first?
It's only personal interest that I'm interested in intrigue as such. Like my character's actual interest.
Then let's do the recognize then.
Okay, the one I'm no good at. All good.
Well, that's unfortunate, but
there you go. No.
There are several ladies about. You don't recognize many of them, but you do happen to recognize one of them that is not married. She is the Lady Elaine, and you have heard from several people that are speaking as you walk around town that she is a beautiful appearance 18 woman whose first husband was killed by her base-born lover a few years ago, and then that lover was hanged for killing a knight. She is rich, but she's considered a unfaithful hussy. That said, she has 4 domain manors in her holdings, and if you were to marry her and perhaps fight some knights in them, you could become a Banret knight overnight. If you were willing to deal with a unchristian, unfaithful knight, as lady, as your lady.
I mean, I would be certainly happy to, like, if the opportunity comes before we're knighted, to at least meet her, and just see, because I mean, first off, faithfulness is.
You're approaching her?
Yeah, I will approach her. Yes. How old is she?
Not particularly young. In her mid-20s. I mean, you failed your roll, so.
Yeah.
She, before you reach her, she will separate herself from her maids and valets and fellow ladies. She seems to recognize you, Owain, and moves. She stops like 3 paces away from you, as if waiting for you to do something.
All right. Could I have collected some sort of token first, like a rose or something? Something
I mean,
that
for
would
a man who's spreading the denaries like this, of course.
Well, I had my recent gambling winnings as well.
Yes, of course. You're making it rain coins.
My lady, I've come here for my knighting. And I had heard of your beauty and simply wished to make an acquaintance before the ceremony. I've know little about you, but would relish the opportunity to learn more. Please accept this gift, given without pretext.
You're closing the distance between the two of you?
I'm reaching for. I'm stepping forward to offer and bow and offer a rose.
She will take it from you. Make a romance roll.
Okay.
Got him.
Oh, no.
Got him. No. Wow, you're so good. I forgot you're actually good at this. I thought I had you. Yeah. But indeed, you still fail anyway.
I'm much better at flirting. So,
yeah, but you weren't flirting. You were saying, I'd like to get to know you.
Exactly right, yeah.
She seems surprised for a moment and takes a sniff of the rose and says, Owain of Shrewton, right?
That's right, my lady.
I have heard of you. I couldn't find your manor on a map.
Many struggle. It is, however, a jewel in the northwest.
Is it now? Perhaps I should take some time to visit. I have heard that you are a good man. A lustful man.
It disappoints me that it's a trait that people ascribe to me before others. I admit that I am not of the Christian faith. That places different expectations, but I tell you that there is a difference between what a man does when he is married versus what a man does when he is at war.
She gives you the kind of weird smile that you see in a Western movie from the one sad, weird girl who leans around bead curtains and is definitely going to die before the end of the movie and is deeply unnerving.
I was gonna go with, like, you know, the housewife in the like sheer fur collared coat who goes,
a gardener.
I have no idea how he died.
He's not a private detective. It's a weird smile, and there's an unusualness, an air about her as she continues to smell this rose that you have given her. And she says, Owain, Shrewton, it was good to meet you this day, Sir Owain.
I'm not Sir Owen yet, but I thank you anyway, my lady. Perhaps we will speak again in future courts.
I'm looking forward to it. She waits for you to depart first, and then she takes a bunch of very quick, small steps to go back to her people, and suddenly everybody, even the valets, have surrounded her, and there's lots of talking all of a sudden. And like an explosion of color as people are like, oh my goodness, let's show me the bros. What's going on here? What's he like? We're full on hitting Knight's Tale levels of anachronism right now.
Yeah. It's like Greece, but King Arthur. I think one of the things that Kendric wants to do while he's in town is go see if he can find a merchant who might have a two-handed mace for sale.
A two-handed mace. Now, do you know how much that will cost you in denarius or librum?
So a mace is 30 denarii.
Ooh, that's pretty. That even for you, that's kind of pricey.
I mean, I did get the extra libra from my roll,
so you can cut it. It's quite a bit.
Yeah. So what is the breakdown again?
It's 240 denarii to 1 libra.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm gonna pick up a two-handed mace if it is available.
Make a recognize roll.
Sure. Ooh, so close.
He rolled a 4. Needed a 3, rolled a 4. Not good. Yeah. You make your way through the area, and someone jostles into you and says, hold a second, tall man. I think I recognize you. Kendric, right?
That's right.
The name's Gropsis. I'm a merchant.
Gropsis.
I knew your father. I pass through these lands once every 3 years. You're a pagan, right?
That's right.
Tell me, do you know what usury is? Sorry, you say usury.
Something with loans?
Yeah, my language.
Yeah, several of the people nearby are uncomfortable with this discussion. And he says, that's exactly right. Christians are not allowed to loan money to others. That makes it very difficult for some lords to carry out financial business.
Mm-hmm.
A wise man would turn to a strong, well-fortuned moneylender, or perhaps a lord who is not as Christian as others. Might we speak privately somewhere? I have a business opportunity I'd like to offer you, Sir Kendric.
I am not a knight yet, but I'm interested in hearing out your proposal.
They don't call me Gropsis the Long-Eared just because my ears are quite big, like jug handles. I've heard that you're to be knighted today, sir.
Well, lead on and let's hear what you have to say.
He takes you down a few alleyways towards the Josephine Abbey. He sits outside the Abbey somewhat blasphemously discussing how to get around usury with you on a bench. Yeah. He passes you a pretty good French wine. Okay. A nice red. It's got kind of bouquet to it as well. And he says, so I do a circuit. I travel down to the south. Sometimes I make it as far as what would be Rome if it hadn't collapsed, and back up here to the islands.
That's quite a journey.
Well, for a man like me, having to travel through southern territories, it would be good for me to have a benefactor who isn't a Saxon lord. I would like to say that I have a partner in this part of Logris who is, if not a Christian knight, then a knight nonetheless. someone of means and wealth with a family history that could scare away those who might try to interfere in my business, or well, the backing of a patron can sometimes make people who would otherwise try to trick you think twice. With a backing from such a patron and an investment of a suitable amount of Librum, I could probably give you... And he pulls out an abacus. Do you know math?
Do I know math? No.
Okay. He holds it up to you and
math.
says, I could give you this kind of return, I think, when I show back up in about 3 years. Loaning your money out to Christians along the way and seeing what returns I can get. What goods I can travel with as well. Now look, we've just met, and we're sitting in the middle of Sarum outside an abbey. Maybe you want to take some time to think about this, but I'm leaving in the next 2 days, and I hope to be in France within 2 weeks. So think carefully, but think quickly. Unless, of course, you want to say yes right here to old Gropsis.
I'm intrigued by your offer, Gropsis. I shall think it over and talk to some friends of mine and get their opinions on whether or not this would be a wise investment.
I mean, I'd heard that the men of Pitton made their own decisions, but it is a wise man who seeks counsel from his friend. You could tell he's definitely trying to nag you right now.
Yeah.
This was not unintentional.
Excuse me, Arthur, it's called the hard sell.
Yeah.
Okay? Not thinking. It's like, yeah. Only an idiot wouldn't buy my product. You're not an idiot, are you?
Where can I find you?
He gives you the address of a guild hall where you can find traders like him.
Okay. Let me help you out, Arthur. He's going to say, what would it take to get me to get you to say yes today?
It's clear that Spoon isn't going to do that, though, and I'm not going
right
to
away.
But then this guy's not selling a used car.
James, I'm not in sales. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do this with you right now, James. I just can't.
I thank you for the wine, Gropsis, and I shall inquire after you probably tomorrow.
My lord. He walks away, and he's whistling a tune. It sounds like maybe it's Roll Northumbria Roll, which again would be really anachronistic.
Yeah.
Herawd.
Do I find my mace? Sorry, real quick.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Herawd is going to check out the muse and see what the what sorts of birds of prey might be available.
I see. Well, unfortunately for our friends who wanted to suggest the additional hunting book for all of the extra birds, I don't actually know what sort of falconry birds there are.
We can hand wave that part, but that's
Yes, you spend some time in the muse, and you do indeed find many fine birds. Are you in the market to buy a new one?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. As a knight, you would be eligible to take a Gossick. So, seeing as you're about to become a knight, you might want to reserve such a bird.
Excellent.
You go to the muse. Are you the kind of guy that shows up like several times a year to talk about getting a new bird, but you don't actually buy the bird, right? They know you here as like a window shopper, but when you come in and you go to the Gossick aisle and like one of the Gossicks is like trying to climb itself onto your hand, they're like, oh, it's his knighting time. We don't even need to be told. We know what this means.
Absolutely.
They've got
100%.
They got the paperwork ready for you. It does take a few hours to talk with the person who mastered this bird. They want to walk you through the finer points. The name of this bird is Joffrey, the Gossick. He's named because when he was younger, he was an irredeemable little shit and everybody hated him.
Sounds familiar.
But after a while, he completely disappeared off everyone's radar and became cool. You find yourselves in Sarum. Let's see here. The knighting ceremony. I don't know if we want to do the full thing. The thing about doing it online is that when lots of people talk at once, it can get very confusing. But if we have each of you recite it, it takes too long.
There is the abridged version.
Is that in?
It's in 5.2.
Interesting.
It's the short ceremony.
The short version.
Yeah. Whereas so the knighting ceremony is an entire page of call and response. The short ceremony is a very small box text.
It's on page 47.
I'll leave it to you guys. Do you want to do the full ceremony or do you want to do the short one? It's your knighting ceremony.
I think that Glimo should do the full ceremony, and then James and I can do the short ceremony.
Very well. That is what we shall do. That evening, you join in a meal in the hall. You sit at the far end, away from the Earl's table. You receive good fare, but not as good as the knights who sit closer to the Earl. That night, after dinner, Earl Roderick unsurprisingly announces that he has decided to grant knighthood to those deserving of it so they can better serve him. He ceremoniously asks the men of his court whom the available candidates are. And of course, one of those asked first is the marshal, who sits at the high table near the Earl. Sir Eled says, I know of 3 young men who are worthy to be knighted, Earl Roderick. Herawd, Kendric, and Owain. Many here seem to cheer at those names and thump the table. The Earl agrees and calls you forward, crossing the great hall, a long walk before you stand before him. Do you feel that you are ready to become knights in my service?
Absolutely, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Yes.
Very good. This ceremony is going to be the most important event of your career, unless you should somehow greatly surpass my expectations, which is certainly not impossible. He does ask all of you to undertake a vigil, but you are allowed to go where you would like to do the vigil. You are not bound to one of the abbeys or a church.
So I think I can't speak others, but I think Owain will try and find like an altar or shrine somewhere to be in quiet contemplation with the gods.
Yep. There's typically like sacred groves would be where
The gods would.
Yeah, the gods. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
We've made way too many Game of Thrones references so far.
It's, you know.
I haven't said bread and salt once. Okay. I'm really holding back here. I just appreciate if everyone else does too.
Sure.
I would like the 3 of you to make spiritual rolls.
Oh, quick.
Ooh, nice, James.
Nice. Please mark that. Actually, just increase your spiritual by 1 right here and mark it. This is an important ceremony. That's real good. Herawd, please mark your spiritual as well. Kendric, can I ask you to check energetic?
Okay. It's already checked.
No, I mean to check
roll
your
it.
energetic. I want to see if you fall
Gotcha.
asleep because you're not particularly biased.
Can I? Sure.
Okay. Do you want to stay up all night trying, even though you don't particularly It's not. Maybe it's not that you believe. It's just you don't believe anything will happen.
I don't think this is a lack of spirituality from Kendric. He just knows that this is the expected thing to do of him, is to stay up all night, and whether he prays or not doesn't matter as much.
Is there someone who each of you would like to bless your armor, your sword, your coat of arms? Is there a priest, a shaman, some spiritualist that you would call forward? Someone who could construct an altar for you? Do you care?
Because I think that the armor is given to you by the Lord initially, isn't it?
Yes, your whole armor is already ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, if you were a Christian knight, it would be blessed by a priest at the altar of the church you were praying at. Because you are not, you don't need to have your armor blessed, and you could always have it be blessed by a Christian. But if you want it, it's not typical, but a pagan could bless it for you.
Yeah,
I think that from Owain, once he's got this done and he goes back to Shrewton, because of like his mother's family connection, with this sort of old Feywild, that he has somebody in Shrewton's community that he will have then do something with the armor to establish a spiritual connection after the fact.
I think if there's a local druid who would be like the pagan equivalent of a priest.
I don't think that there's like a local druid. There's someone passing through the area that will do it for you.
I think that Herawd is actually a bit religious, so I think he's got an itinerant priest that he sees regularly, that he would have asked to come to the ceremony.
Is it pronounced Herawd? Have I been saying it wrong the whole time?
I thought that it was. I know it's the predecessor of Howard, and I thought it was pronounced more that, but.
All right, I'll say it more like Howard.
So if I was to look at that, being British, I would say Herawd would be the Gaelic way of saying it.
I feel like that was kind of how I've been saying it.
Herawd is great.
Well, rather than talk about Herawd, let's talk about the Herawd for this ceremony. Several people in this hall are scandalized that you are not wearing the traditional white, black, red of the knighting ceremony. Whether it's well known that you are Christian or not, the fact that you would have the gumption and gall to not celebrate the Christianity of Salisbury is remarked upon briefly, quietly, behind hands. That said, the herald calls you forth with full measure. Banners are displayed. Courtiers are in their best clothes, and the herald says, "Herawd, come forth and kneel before the throne."
Herawd does.
Servant places your sword, armor, shield, and spurs nearby. The herald reads from a scroll and says, "Be it known to all men that Earl Roderick am minded to raise Herawd by virtue of his honor, loyalty, valor, and skill at arms to the high rank of knighthood. Herawd, do you swear and acknowledge Earl Roderick to be your true and lawful liege?"
I do so swear.
"Do you also swear fealty to Uther Pendragon, to defend and obey him until he depart the throne, or death shall take you?"
I so swear.
Roderick rises, walks towards you. He adjusts to make sure that his glove fits quite nicely as he delivers the coulis, striking you across the face. It's full on. You are to kneel before him with your hands palm to palm and upraised. He places his hands over yours, and the herald kneels down next to you and says, "Repeat after me. I, herald, do so solemnly swear."
I, herald, do so solemnly swear.
"And pledge my sword to Earl Roderick, my liege.
And pledge my sword to Earl Roderick, my liege.
To defend and obey him until he depart his domains or death shall take me.
To defend and obey him until he depart his domains or death shall take me.
To uphold the honor of knighthood.
And to uphold the honor of knighthood.
And I, for my part, do swear to defend and honor Herawd, as befits a true knight." He takes her own sword, taps you lightly on both shoulders. "I dub thee Sir Herawd. Receive now your spurs, your right to suitable arms, and take this, my sword, to your side. Serve and defend me well. Arise, Sir Herawd." Then
Yeah,
Owain
you
and
want to-
Kendrick, you
That's it.
also get the ceremony, but we're not going to do the full thing.
Although you missed the line where like before he slaps him, he says, "Let this be the last blow
feel like
you
I said
receive
that
without
part.
just recourse." No, you just said you got up and delivered the coulee.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that part because I wanted to make sure that there was the,
It was when he was
the-
adjusting his
It
glove.
was a random
I
big slap,
forgot
that's
that
all.
part.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the whole ceremony.
It's
Is no
the best
just
part of it.
recourse.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up at the time. I thought, no, I should let him finish and say it at the end.
No just recourse is actually one of the names I was going to call this show. Instead, I just settled with the name of the show, with the name of the campaign. Let's do the leap. All of you in full arms and armor dash outside and leap into your saddle. Make a dex roll.
Boo, I got laughed at.
Amazing. Falls on his ass.
Critical for
Ooh,
Glimo.
nice.
Incredible. He's so good at this
Yeah,
game.
I also get laughed at.
Take an additional 10 points of glory, Herawd, and all of you get 1,000 points of glory for being knighted. Congratulations. You are each assigned a squire by Earl Roderick. Kendric of Pitton, you were assigned Aaron. I think that's the name we've chosen, right?
I believe so, yes.
Aaron, the hunter, the Jaeger, perhaps. Herawd of Laverstock, you are assigned Guy.
No, Hebes. Guy was my father.
Oh, Guy was your father. Sorry, what's the name of your
Hebes. Hebes.
Hebes?
Oh, no, it was Elliston.
Elliston is your squire.
Yeah, Elliston is my squire.
Elliston. Okay. Owain of Shrewton, I feel like at this point I've been wrong about all the squires so far. I'm just going to ask you what their name is.
Gwent.
Gwent,
Yeah,
of
Gwent.
course. The one I
Gwent.
should have absolutely known.
Yeah.
We really cannot stop the anachronisms tonight, huh?
That is a Sumeric name. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll buy that. Kendric, if you actually intend to do business with Gropsis, remember to go back to him
Yes.
next session. For all of you, think about the kind of opening moves you'd like to make throughout the Pentecostal Feast of Uther, which you will be attending at the start of next year, and anything you'd like to do back at home now that you are knighted. At the end of the year, you will, of course, attend the feast in Sarum for Christmas, which isn't a particularly Christian tradition at this time, ironically. It's just everybody gets together in the winter when it's cold and does a lot of
still
feasting.
Yule. Still Yule at this point in time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Let's talk. We didn't really talk a lot about it. I'd like to do outro-ductions and then outros. So, GrimDarkJames, let's start with you.
So, which one do you want first? Sorry, the outroduction?
Outroduction. We're going to introduce everybody, and then we're going to outro.
Okay, I'm GrimDarkJames. I hang around Arthur's Discord a lot, and I play a lot of his games. I think that I am a crutch that Arthur carries around to to fill sessions. It's all
There's
good.
a question mark appearing over my head right now.
No. Look, I do a lot on the channel, which is a lot of fun. I really appreciate being included in this game as well. In terms of other stuff I do, I have a YouTube channel where I do a bit of 40K stuff, and I'm also. Oh no, I'm hinting I'm going to put something else up there soon, but it will. I don't want to spoil it, so it'll come up. I'll probably talk about it next time we play. Otherwise, I'm on Generic Fantasy Adventure, Arthur's D&D show, which is returning in January, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already. The whole first season or episodes is up right now, ready to watch. Yeah, that's really where to find me. I'm GrimDarkJames or GrimDark Podcast on all the social medias.
Biggest Spoonus.
I am BigSpoon. You can find me here on Saturdays, also on Arthur's Discord. Yeah, I've been playing in a few games recently as well. Looking forward to seeing what the rest of this nightly adventure has in store.
Maybe at some point you might find that base, huh?
Yeah, looking for that two-handed mace. Maybe Gropsis can help me out.
I want this mace to just be an adventure in itself.
Yeah, it's my white whale.
It's gonna be like my pistol from 2020 that you'll finally get it and never get a chance to use it.
Yeah. By the time I get the two-handed mace, two-handed swords will be coming around.
Magnum Cochlear? Okay. I'm afraid that Glimo does not have a Latin conjugate, so let's just go with your name.
I'm Glimo. I've been on a few of Arthur's other programs. You can find me in his Discord. When I'm not here, I'm sometimes playing pirate games with some of the other folks on the channel.
I heard that Valheim's real hot again now with Mistlands.
Valheim just released Mistlands. Haven't played it yet because I was on a plane when it happened. So I
like if you want to wait 2 or 3 weeks before we Mistland, that'll work for me. What happened?
Oh, did we lose?
Did he mute himself?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I muted myself. Yeah, I wouldn't have time to get to it before Christmas because I'm going to be
Let's
over
do it
here.
after Christmas if we can.
Excellent.
You used to run Call of Cthulhu games, right? People could watch that online somewhere?
Yeah, I think there's still VODs on my YouTube channel if that's still a thing. They're not very good. Watch someone else's VODs.
Wow. All right. How did we feel about this session? It was very anachronistic, and I feel like I've made Earl Roderick into something closer to the Lucky Jack from Master and Commander. But really, I wanted him to just be like a good all-around guy.
Yeah, he seems very bro-y.
So the hardest thing for me was that, I mean, this session, it's the classic first session of Pendragon. You always can expect that. And my Pendragon group called themselves the Brotherhood of the Bear after this session, and it was very hard for me to avoid memeing off that and because we should all take a token without saying, oh, this is it, the bear is now our totem spirit, basically.
Yeah. We're the Brotherhood of the Bear.
Yeah, because that's what my other group did, and I don't want to steal that from them. That's their thing. But no, look, it's a classic venture, and it's really good. I've learned so much about stuff I've done wrong in Pendragon, like giving people checks for critical fails. My group is way too powerful because
they've been getting double the skill checks.
Yeah, so exactly.
That's not like I didn't do everything right. We had I was supposed to test, energetic.
The opposed virtue. Yeah, the opposed virtue before you do the actual virtue.
Yeah. Well, now that bear is a ghost, you could call yourself the Ghost Bears.
Could call ourselves the Ghost Bears.
It would really be a partial victory in my eyes.
That's what
People who only watch Pendragon will get no idea what that reference is. That's the best part.
They'll be like, are they talking about partial
It
successes?
would take hours to explain it to them.
Yeah. Maybe I'll name my next character Seth.
He's definitely a pagan for sure. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Could never be a Christian. Hello, I'm APGamingREAL. I realized I didn't introduce myself, so while we're doing outros, I should introduce myself. I run several other shows. James has talked about some of them. I also run a show called Battletech Oath of Enosteel, which is directly inspired by Pendragon, and probably where most of the Pendragon players know me from. I've also run this 3 times in the past, poorly, so if you are really desperate for Pendragon campaigns, just look at my YouTube playlists. They're like 8 to 10 years old, so again, they were some of my earliest, least good works. But if you're really desperate, it's there. I want to give a shout out to Ticking Time Bob, or as he's known on Twitch, Bonway, who's a friend of the channel. Who we can't read. It's too white. It's too whited out. No one can read it. It says like and subscribe to the folks at home, but it's absolutely washed out on stream.
It's a good try.
You could like and subscribe on YouTube if you wanted to.
Arthur doesn't like me repping for him, so
I don't
I'll
not
rep
like
for
you
Arthur.
repping for me. It's just I don't feel like the effort is worth what. I feel like call to arms for me are counterproductive. People are like, "Oh, you want me to like and subscribe? I unlike and I unsubscribe because you asked me to do that, you jerk." Bonway on Twitch is also running a Pendragon campaign concurrently with this one, and I was a guest on it. I was the very honorable and not at all villainous what's this guy's name? The Duke of Cornwall.
Yeah,
Cornwall. Okay, well, I'm not French enough to pronounce it like that. Sorry, my Irishness prevents me from being that French. And I think the best part about running this game is that when I describe Irish people, I'll realistically describe them as becoming instantly burnt like toast whenever they walk out into the sunlight, just like me.
Yeah, can confirm. I have 2 colors, white and red. There is no tan.
I feel like I'm displaying both of them right now. Yeah. Well, I had fun, and I like the structure of Pendragon, so I'm looking forward to getting into its cyclical nature, but this first session is usually a little wild, and I'm glad we didn't get bogged down too long hunting the bear, because I have seen some real epic fails hunting the bear.
My home game was one of those, because no one put any points into hunting.
Yeah, I was very glad that someone in the group had it, because I was not going to find the bear.
One of my players for their starting gift got like excellent hunting hounds, which give plus 1d6 to hunting rolls whenever you do hunting rolls. So,
yeah. Imagine being so good at hunting hounds that generationally your family will always be master hunter.
There's actually a table where you can get a fantastic, like James said, you can get the fantastic hunting hound, and then it can have babies depending on what you roll every year.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Look, it's Pendragon, man. There's a table for everything.
Yeah.
Friends, rather than like and subscribing, which of course you should do, but if you're in the YouTube comment section right now and you want to be taunted into doing a call to arms, why don't you tell me about your Pendragon campaign in the comment section? Boom. There we go. We'll be back next week? ?
Let's see. I think so. It's the 17th next week.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Where will Glimo be? Nobody knows.
He's in an undisclosed location.
Have we told the chat where Glimo is right now, or is that just us memeing the whole time?
It's always on break. Always on break.
Yeah, it's always on break.
Spoon hasn't even seen it.
Yeah, no.
It's always away.
Do you want to just do it right now, James?
He's
You want to just do it?
He's obviously at. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Glimo's obviously at his house somewhere in the United States.
Okay, so previously, Sid Alpha has showed up behind Pondo the Mad on my stream because he went to his house. Glimo is.
Oh my God, James is at your house, Glimo?
No, it's the other way around. I'm at James's house.
It's a weird first session flex, but I'll take it.
I pull aside.
I will admit, Arthur, this is the whole reason why I was saying, I think we should do the game in December. Let's at least do one session in December.
Specifically for this joke.
This guy.
Exactly.
So
6 months I have been planning this.
My final part of the outro about Glimo is that he seduced other players on my stream into going with their wives to a wine club somewhere outside of Seattle, and now they still get like wine box of the month or what? I don't know what's going on there, but was it Eric Vulgaris and Dunamis?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of Erics gathered in one location, all drinking wine with their wives and girlfriends.
Now, I don't think Eric Vulgaris still has the wine delivered. That would be quite a trip.
To Ireland? You're right, that would be quite a trip.
So now that Spoon and I have met, and Glimo and I have met, I think at least someone here in this room
Glimo has offered for like the last 4 years to come meet me, and I've always been like, I don't meet people in real life. He almost got me, but then I was like, no, I'll pass.
I've been near Arthur's undisclosed location.
It's not that undisclosed, it's northern Delaware. One day, Glimo, I'll think about it. Arthur's
like that catfish date, when you're online dating, who always the camera's always broken, or it's just we're gonna meet up and suddenly
right now. You can see me. I'm right here.
Hey, AI is pretty good these days, though. So
he's always talking about being a YouTuber.
Look back at the quality of Arthur's earlier videos. You'll see there's a definite quality drop off, and that was when AI wasn't quite as good at producing solid images.
I've been using the same camera for almost the entire time. I'm honestly shocked the C920 is still working.
Yeah.
They basically don't even make it anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do if it breaks, because then I'm going to have to get like a DSLR in order to be competitive with the youth or something. I don't know.
No, you could just get the new Elgato cameras. They're pretty good.
Elgato. They're everywhere now. They're everywhere. All right. Closing thoughts. One sentence on our way out. James, what do you got?
Good game to get started. Looking forward to doing more of it.
Glimo.
I'm enjoying the mechanics of the game, and looking forward to playing more.
Spoon.
For the king.
Folks at home?
I figured you'd say for honor, since you used that passion this time.
For justice.
We'll see.
For great justice.
There could be a battle next time. A battle at Mirkrid Creek? Boy, I butchered that. I'm so sorry, Britain. I'm going to do some terrible things with your language. I'm American. We speak a totally different language.
Torn to shreds.
I will forgive you in advance for your sins. I'll still mock you for them, but there'll be no jihad against Arthur for his speech from the Britons Alive rule.
Oh, that's great, because I can't wait to pronounce words like Gwalid and Estragalis, because that's how it's pronounced in the South where I was raised. I don't know why I sound vaguely Texan when I spent 13 years in West Virginia. Oh, is that the goodbye screen? Oh, I think we're on our way out, guys. Are we?
Uh-oh.
We're free.
Are we leaving?
Yeah, we're
That's
out.
It.